Hello. I'm excited today. I am going to talk about cholesterol. I'm going to talk about insulin resistance. I'm going to talk about how you actually get a little bit healthier. So, my name is Delana. Thank you for watching. And thank you for just involving yourself and making sure that you want to be healthy and try to get rid of problems that are reversible. And I have a special guest coming on, and he'll be looking for me here shortly. And I am excited about him because we're going to get to know a little bit more about him. And I'm just excited about what this year is going to do and how we're just going to make changes and be better in life this year. So I got a question for you. If you had some, I'm going to put some @followers here and highlights here while I'm waiting and see if I can share it. And there we go. Maybe try to bring him on here and see if I can invite. I just sent you. I have a question. Hey, awesome.
Good
Let's
morning or
see.
good afternoon.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing amazing. So I have a special guest here, and I mean, when I tell you I'm excited about it, I am so excited about it. And I just want to talk a little bit about if you had cholesterol and blood sugar and had a group chat, they'd be like, it keeps ignoring us. Should we, act like start acting up? But sometimes we have to speak about things, and when we don't speak about things, that makes you know, life a little bit hard to discuss reality. And and if you've personally been a victim by a drive through of a busy schedule, you know what happens. You know that you're going on and on and on a busy schedule, and that leads into destruction sometimes. So, my name is Delana. Thank you guys for watching. I have my friend BJ. BJ, tell me a little bit about you and where you're from, please.
I'm talking from the sunny state of Virginia. I'm in Hampton Roads. I'm a retired Navy reservist and retired civil service.
Thank
Uh,
you for your service.
Thank you. And I'm a full-time health coach. So this is what I do now.
Awesome. So, we were talking about discussing some things, and you told me that you were diagnosed with some things that you wasn't happy about in life. So tell me a little bit about your story.
I was going to the doctor to get my physicals, and I found out that I was pre-diabetic and I had high cholesterol. Now, the diabetes got my attention because my great grandaunt, she had her left leg amputated due to sugar. Now, in the South, that's what we call diabetes, sugar. Um, and as a kid, I just remember seeing her from walking to now she's in a wheelchair, and I'm thinking to myself, I am not going to be like that. And the fast forward a few decades later, here I am now, pre-diabetic and the high cholesterol. And for 9 years, I'm going to my doctor every year. My doctor told me to keep doing what I was doing. She never told me what the symptoms of insulin resistant was or diabetes or high cholesterol. Um, and I didn't know. I was thinking maybe this is hereditary. As you get older, I noticed some things were changing on me. I just ignored it. Didn't think much of it. But at the same time, I'm the same guy that you see at the park running around doing 2 or 3 miles, shirt off, thinking I'm in good shape. But I'm taking naps on my lunch break in my car. On the weekends, I get up, I'm taking naps, I'm tired, I'm always drinking, and I'm just constantly thirsty. But this life seemed like it was fine back then because I didn't have any physical disabilities per se. I didn't have anything that was really showing that I needed help. And I didn't know any better. I'm thinking that my doctor's going to do right by me. So I just continued doing what I was doing for the next 9 years.
So you were struggling and had came from a family history of actually prediabetes and diabetes with your grandma. So those first symptoms, you told me that you exercise. So you're playing basketball, you're very active, and the most important thing that I see here, you're not a large person.
No, 5'9", 165.
So, and to say that him not being a large person, a lot of people think that you have to be fluffy. I'll use that word. Have some marshmallows. I'll say face, and use some have marshmallows around the midsection to be insulin resistance. But that's not the case in all cases. You were working out, and you were very active. You were military, so you've done all the things that we were told to do, but yet your numbers were still high when it came to your labs.
Yes, yes. My saving grace since then, I learned that the exercising was the only reason why my numbers never skyrocketed sooner rather than later.
Hey, that is a good thing to know. So, as we go on this thing about cholesterol, can you tell me what your triglycerides were when because I like to look at the triglycerides and look at the HDL. Do you remember that number?
I remember they were 182 and it shouldn't be over 150.
That part right there, because that's where the cardiac event happens, is when your triglycerides are high and your HDL is low. And a lot of people want to look at the LDL, but that's not the case at times. That since we've studied and found out some things, I've found out a lot about insulin resistance. So tell me, how you said you were taking a nap and you were struggling, didn't have no energy or anything like that?
The best way to describe how I was feeling for 9 years was like driving a car with the emergency brake on.
Mm.
If you've ever done that, you feel yourself moving, but you feel like somebody's pulling on the back of you. And I would just wake up tired all the time, even on the weekends. And like I said earlier, lunch break, if I had time, I'll set my alarm for 15 minutes, go to my car and just get a quick cat nap because I was tired. That was the most obvious sign when I think about it of me being diabetic and insulin resistant.
So I guess you exercising and keeping the numbers kept you off medications as well, right?
Right. It
Good.
did. However, the last 2 years before I made the changes, I started getting copies of my lab work because I want to partner with my doctor. Let's do this together. So let me see what I could do on my end. And they had at the bottom, once my A1C for my pre-diabetes reached 6.4, they already had me scheduled to take metformin.
Ooh.
Yes.
And the side effects of that is just a little horrendous at times. I call it a meeting at the bathroom at 2 p.m. We got a meeting in the restroom. That song, right?
I,
Yeah.
I looked I looked
I
at the
love to make
symptoms.
jokes about things, when it's hard to deal with life and people really have to use some of the things to take that. But, if you have a different um alternative that you can use besides doing that, it's always good. So tell me, you had found a system, and tell me a little bit about the first week of that system that you started when you found it.
Okay. So I would tell you I was somewhat reluctant, even doing the system initially. The thing that really motivated me and inspired me the most was actually a friend of mine, Johnny Grandison. I go over their house once a month. They have salad jar parties, and for like 3 months in a row, I noticed like in March he had lost some weight, and I'm thinking maybe because he's stressed out at work. Didn't think nothing of it. And then April, I noticed he lost more weight. And I'm thinking, well, maybe he was diagnosed with the dreaded C word, or maybe they have marital problems. I never asked. And then May, he told us what he was doing to have lost the weight, but and he wasn't exercising and he didn't change what he was eating. He only changed when he was eating. Now, me seeing the results firsthand, um I didn't want to lose weight because that's not my issue. The diabetes and the cholesterol, yes. So I didn't take it like I should initially. I say the first few weeks I was taking it sparingly because I hear, hey, I'm working out, I'm in good shape, because I'm still in my mind thinking that exercise would just kick that diabetes and cholesterol out, even though it hadn't kicked it out for the last 9 years. I'm still thinking like that. So it wasn't until I made a conscious decision because I said I really can't talk to other people about this until I do this 100%. So I would say it was probably the second month that I actually did this every single day. And once I started doing it every single day, I started noticing the changes where now I'm not taking the naps like I used to. I didn't mention this earlier, but I had realized in hindsight, I had about 9 symptoms of insulin resistant that my doctor didn't tell me any of these symptoms at all. So
Okay.
now that I understand what the symptoms are, I'm noticing I'm not, like I said, napping like I used to. I'm not feeling tired like I used to, right? And the other thing with that, my main concern was the weight loss. Well, I didn't lose weight, but I did notice, I'm going a little past the first week now. But I noticed that I lost inches in my waist because one of some of my pants I noticed was fitting a little looser on me, and I'm like, what happened? Clothes, if you wash them, shrink. They don't expand. But I noticed that my pants were, and then I thought about it. I said, wait a second, maybe I lost inches because I
Yeah.
still weigh the same. And sure enough, that's what happened. I measured myself, and I had lost 3 inches at that time, and that was probably maybe 3 or 4 months now.
Awesome. You seem like a happy person. How was your mood by that time? Because being in the military, being dealing with the public, it can sometimes get a little moody, when you're working in the public and actually, you know, have a I'm an A-type personality, I think. So,
Uh-huh.
we kind of follow rules, and when people break them, you kind of, you kind of get them back in line real quick. So, how was your mood with that energy, that this newfound energy that you had?
Well, at this time, I've been retired now 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I'm working at the shipyard at this time. But my mood had improved because my mood in the beginning was I'm coming into work and I'm dragging, I'm tired. Um, I spend like the first 30 minutes to an hour just really trying to get myself going, and everyone else around me is the same way because it's like morning, morning, everyone's dragging. You got the one person, I haven't had my coffee yet, don't talk to me yet. But
Yes.
since then, um, my energy is improving now. So I see people noticing that I have a little more energy, and they see that I'm always sipping on this now. So like, hey, what are you doing? They're starting to ask more questions now. But my action was speaking more for itself. So my mood was just it improved. I would just say my mood had improved, and it
Okay.
was it was a
Awesome.
subtle improvement.
So, viewers, if you're watching right now, please share the live. If you know somebody that's dealing with pre-diabetes or dealing with high cholesterol, please share the live. Send it out. It'll be on here. If you're watching the replay, reach out to either BJ or myself, and start asking questions about some symptoms of insulin resistance. If you're tired, no energy, digestive problems, bloating, you got some inflammation, your joints are hurting, you got body aches and pains, any skin issues, acne, food addictions, that cravings in the middle of the night, or it hits you in the middle of the day, you just can't shake it because maybe you started off needing some energy and you had to do a couple of things like maybe try some energy drinks or something like that to just kind of help you get through the day, because we all do it. We've all tried to self-medicate to make us better. And I mean, I remember doing Fit Body Boot Camp, and I was running back and forth in circuits every 30 seconds, just trying to, lose. My thing was lose weight, and I'm running, I'm doing exactly what the instructor is telling me to do, but nothing is happening. And like you said, nobody knew the signs of insulin resistance, because when you talk about metabolic dysfunction, you talk about a lot of different things that nobody knows about. They brought it up back in the, I think, 90s. It first came out, but then life has changed, and that word, insulin resistant, nobody knows about. Metabolic dysfunction, nobody knows about it. When your metabolism is out of whack, your hormones is out of whack, because insulin is a hormone. And that's a little bit more about what you're dealing with in life. When you have chronic diseases, insulin is the root cause. You got to get to the root cause of where these symptoms that we're putting band-aids on instead of fixing it. And once we fix it, we don't have to worry about the things that the no energy, the inflammation, the chronic headaches that you may have, and the blood sugar problem when you're going to the doctor and your glucose level in your CMP, that lab level, is elevated. And next thing they know, they want to tell you, hey, let's do some metformin. I know I said that incorrectly, but but there are other ways that you can fix this. BJ and I are going to go into some of that, because if you're struggling with those things, you're struggling with overeating, you're struggling with high blood pressure, because when you have high cholesterol, they put you on that statin. And guess what? Diabetes is coming down the road, because that's one of the side effects of it. And a lot of people don't realize that the foods that we're eating actually can help us or they can change us. It's up to us to be our own health advocate and say, hey, do you have 10 to 15 minutes to talk to me just a little bit longer? That's your copay that you're paying when you go to the doctor. So, you need to ask questions about your labs. If your triglycerides are elevated and your HDL is low, guess what? That means that's one sign right there that you're insulin resistant. If you have the fluffy marshmallow filling around your waist and you measure it and it's more than your height. I mean, I'm 5'3", and I was 46 inches round, so I was more than
Mm,
have. I laugh about it now, but when I think about it, it, you know, it's a bad feeling when you think about it that way. And I didn't
mhm,
know how inflamed I was. My joints was hurting. I was running up and down the basketball court at that time, and couldn't make it. And now I run up and down it, and I look at those kids at 50 years old. I am living my best life. I didn't even ask you how old you are, but if you're to retire from the military and have worked in the real world, I call it, because military is the real world. That's a whole different monster right there. But if you're out dealing with people and you don't have the energy and they're draining you
mhm.
mentally, physically, you just can't do it anymore. Next thing you know, you go to the doctor, you have pre-diabetes, and you're stuck right where BJ was.
Mhm.
So BJ, I want you to, explain a little bit about the first protocol that we use doing this. What is the first step? That Go into detail a little bit more about what you did to reverse this.
So, first thing I did, so I just made up my mind, like I said earlier, just to be committed with the process. And the sad thing about it, I would say this, thinking about it, there is a 90-day money back guarantee. So I had nothing to lose except my diabetes itself and my cholesterol. So when I decided to make the commitment, I just started, like you see right now, get up in the morning and I put my tea in my bottle and I started sipping on it. And I would tell you, one of the benefits I would of doing this, I stopped buying the snacks because at my desk at work, I should have had all this laid out. I had my can of mixed nuts. I had granola bars, trail mix, a little fruit cups. I had a little boxes of raisins. I had a jar of dates. I had a bunch of snacks on my desk and in my drawers. So people knew that I was always snacking constantly, because at the time that's supposed to keep your metabolism high. But once I started doing this, I was thinking to myself, this stuff ain't gonna work because I'm gonna look at these snacks and I'm gonna want to eat it. But when I started sipping on this bottle every morning, I would see my snacks. I had no desire to eat them. I wasn't hungry at all. Like, so this tea literally turned off the food noise. So doing that right there was a game changer, because like, wow, because I was at the grocery store at least twice a week replacing these snacks because I'm eating them all day, every day. Yeah. And then I say the fiber. When I started taking the fiber, it was easy for me because lunch was just a snack, but dinner was when I was taking the fiber. And I would tell you honestly, in the very beginning, I'm still conscientious because I don't want to lose weight, so I would take the fiber after I was eating. But once I understood it was more effective to take it before I was eating, that's when things really started improving. So once I just made up in my mind that I was going to be 100% on board, that's when the results came.
And that's the most amazing thing. And that's one of the things, we do, just two practices with two products with one practice equal a measurable result. And that's the thing about it. You described it perfectly, how the fiber does its job. And if you think about it, your grandma, my granny, all the
Mhm.
people that have lived before us, did they snack 24/7?
Not at all.
That's it. They didn't, because they would tell you, if you come from outside playing to inside, say, hey, can I have a snack? Oh, no, 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 no. Get out of my kitchen. I mean, that's just the way they talk to us. Get out of my kitchen, because of the fact you're not going to mess up your meal. And that
That's
was
right.
the most important thing about it. You're not going to mess up your meal. They don't
Yep.
want you doing that. And if you think, our ancestors was hunters and gatherers, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't eat 24/7. So that snacking has been convenient for us, that we're paying 6, 7, almost $20 a week on snacking, if not a day. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
think about a soda and a bag of chips, a bag of crackers, some beef jerky, I spent at least $10 right there. But the thing about it, when you start snacking at 8 a.m., or you have your break around 9 normally, right? So you'll
Mm-hmm.
eat breakfast and then you'll throw a snack in 2 hours, because guess what, your glucose is going up when you're eating, and your
Mm-hmm.
insulin says, hey, let me go help you out, brother, because you need to get that back, you need to get it back down. Well, it
Mm-hmm.
takes 4 hours to get your insulin back down. Your glucose may drop at 10 o'clock and say, hey, let's go eat again. And next thing you've done, you spike that insulin again. It didn't come down from the first 2 hours when you ate at 8 o'clock. So next thing you know, it's lunchtime. You're ready to eat up the house.
Mm-hmm.
And again, your insulin has spiked again. It has never come back. And when you have diabetes, they tell you to go take some more insulin. Well, this is where the problem kind of arises. You get, the insulin has to find a way to go. Yeah, has to find a home in your body, because it's
Mm-hmm.
going to do what its job is made to do.
Right.
It's going to bring that blood sugar back down. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing about it, the fiber that he was talking about, it lowers your glucose, lowers your insulin response by 43%.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing it does, it lowers your triglycerides.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not fiber like benefiber, which only have one source of fiber. It's not like metamucil that has one source of fiber. This is 7 soluble, insoluble fiber matrix. It's a pre-meal drink that you drink. So the thing about it, you have food freedom, right, BJ, when you want to
I.
eat?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
I
That's.
love it, because, I've been told lately, oh, girl, you keep losing weight. Well, my body will stop, because
Mm-hmm.
I was 99 pounds when I graduated high school. I'm not trying to get there,
Mm-hmm.
but if you could have seen how fluffy I actually was and how much inflammation by me eating every 2 hours, like I was told,
Mm-hmm.
what that did to me, to my joints, I was having to deal with pain that I couldn't even work out when I wanted to, because I had to deal with if I'm going to hurt today or if I'm going to hurt tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually doing this to ourselves. So you do another part of this protocol too. What is what else do you do with it?
The intermittent fasting.
Oh,
That's. I look. I just told a couple of people I've gotten to the point where, like during the holidays, I took my fiber, but I just chose not to fast those days, Thanksgiving and Christmas. But I immediately the next day I went back to fasting because the difference of how I was feeling. When I gotten used to just doing 2 meals a day. And I keep in mind, last year I'm snacking 5 to 6 times a day from the time I get up to the time I'm going to bed. Every 2 hours I'm snacking. Now 2 meals a day, and that's it. um I have more energy. uh I just feel so much better. I have more creativity. I don't deal with the brain fog like I used to. I have just a lot more thoughts. I don't deal with the eye floaters because now I'm allowing myself to, my pancreas specifically, to take some PTO, some vacation time, right? And I didn't know this. You know, everybody knows that fasting is good. I didn't know that your body starts to produce what's called HGH, human growth hormones, which basically means the development of muscles. So this is how I was able to gain 5 pounds of muscle since I started doing this protocol. And it's crazy. I'm fasting and I've gained weight intentionally, healthy weight, unlike where I was last year, where I didn't know I was in a position where my body could not lose weight because I was basically protecting my midsection, the fluffy area, as you like to call it. So with the fasting now, I thought 16 hours was a long time. I average anywhere between 16 to 20 hours a day easily. And you see, I'm sipping on this now, and it's already been 19 hours since I had my last meal.
Wow. That's amazing right there. And that's the thing about the drink that you're sipping on. It tastes good. It
Mm-hmm.
provides you so much energy. Like a lot of people want to drink a cup of coffee to find energy, but that actually helps your energy. It increases it. It decreases the inflammation in your body. It promotes weight loss. It actually, you have a hormone in your body, and a lot of people like to take injectables for that hormone. You don't have to. That is in your body naturally already. You were designed to make that hormone function the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So this enhances it about 60 to 80%. And when you can enhance your own GLP-1 hormone,
Mm-hmm.
your body is doing exactly the way God has designed it to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're not taking away from anything. And the other thing about this is a natural product.
Mm-hmm.
This is God made product. That was one of the things that I loved about it, because all I did was incorporated what God says about fasting,
Mm-hmm.
what God says about the fiber of the plants and foods that I need, what he says about the minerals that I need. Those, that right there is what has made this so amazing, because I didn't do this by myself. The first thing I did, I prayed about it,
Mm-hmm.
and God showed it. The rest showed up. And if he don't speak to you like that, I don't know how else he can speak to you. Because, I've always been a happy person, right? And to know the mental clarity that you just discussed, how you can
Mm-hmm.
actually get through your work day
Mm-hmm.
by doing those things. And also, this helps decrease the liver weight, it decreased the liver cholesterol. These two products work amazingly together. So,
Mm-hmm.
BJ, tell me a little bit about, if somebody in needed to get in touch with you, follow BJ. And, because you already said it was a 90-day money back guarantee.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You go ahead.
Oh, and and I would add this also. You have there's two different ways you can approach your health. You could do it from a natural perspective, where you're gonna have a result list, right? What we're describing, this provides a result list. Then you have your side effect list. When you take pharmaceuticals, they're going to have their side effect list. So those common side effects, fatigue, weight gain, headaches, constipation, right? All this, and you still contending with whatever disease that you have. So all this does is put a band-aid on your problem and gives 2 or 3 more side effects that you have to contend with now. What we're talking about, this is nutraceutical. Nutraceutical just basically means this is a food, natural occurring food God made, that was put in the packet, that works, that has medicinal properties, that helps you to deal with the root cause of your diabetes, high blood pressure, gout, inflammation, whatever your insulin resistant disease is. That's the major difference. And I like to say, when I talk to people, here's some things that you could ask your doctor, right? Ask your doctor how many people have come off of their medication, the
Mm-hmm.
same medication that you're taking, and have completely reversed their disease, and wait for an answer. And then the second thing that you can use to get your own evidence that you have, if you're taking medication, why have you increased your dosage from maybe 5, 10 milligrams from 2 years ago? Now you're at 50 milligrams, because you're managing your symptoms and you're not dealing with the root cause of your problem. So I share that because I really want you to think as you make an informed decision about your health. Because we can share all this stuff about our health journey with you, but at the end of the day, you are your greatest advocate for your health.
I'm glad that you brought that up because, you talked about the things to ask your physician because a lot of people want to say, can I take this with my medication? Yes, please do. Please follow your doctor's his advice because this is in the PDR, just like metformin and statins. That's what you have right here. But
Mm-hmm.
it's natural. But this is in the physician's desk reference, which he looks up all your other medications that he just held up. And guess what? It's backed by science, clinical studies.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland Clinic, the number one heart hospital in America, says a product taken such as this will help eliminate uh, heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say it, they did. It's backed by dozens of clinical trials and studies. Myself is one of those. I mean, I wasn't up under the thing, but I'm a product of the product.
Yes, we both are.
So exactly. So the thing about it, what's so amazing, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you have an additional option that actually is cost neutral. So that's the other thing about it. I didn't even mention that because it's cost neutral. You think about no snacks.
Mm-mm.
You just save $10 a day for 30 days. That's $300. Can you take a trip? Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or you not having to go every 90 days to get your finger stuck. That's a copay. You're not having to go to every specialist. Hmm. That's another copay. But the 90-day money back guarantee, your pharmacy is not going to give that to you. And you're not going to have a side effect because these are natural.
Mm-hmm.
If you need these products, get with BJ or myself. We will coach you. We have a family that will give you more advice. We have a team because this is growing. I don't know if you saw the post that I posted the other day about yesterday. The biggest thing that happened was the food pyramid.
Mm.
It flipped back like it used to be.
Right.
That was amazing because I already love this because I have food freedom.
Mm-hmm.
This just helps me that I don't have to have a band-aid.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you would like to add, BJ, about this?
For those, we just entered 2026, last week. And if you're still thinking about your health, and maybe you say you're going to wait till Monday, maybe you're going to wait till February 1st, your body doesn't know a calendar. It doesn't follow a calendar. Your body follows your choices. Make a different decision today. The information that we provide you, you can always fact check it you want, but at the end of the day, you want better health, and what you've been doing last week, last month has not been working. Look, I'm showing you my blood work, 5.6. My blood work no longer pre-diabetic. And it's because I decided to say yes to this protocol. And you can do the same thing too if you want to have better health.
Yes. And thank you so much for sharing because sharing is caring. That's one thing about it. If I didn't care about you, if BJ didn't care about you, you wouldn't know. Gatekeeping is in the past.
That's right.
This is time for you to have a new direction on life, a new direction on health because health is wealth.
Hmm.
You make it what it can be, or you can decide that guess what? I'll continue to walk in the same way. I'll continue to have diabetes, prediabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, fatty liver disease, um, PCOS, thyroid problems, Hashimoto's, eczema, skin tags. Look for the signs, guys. Look for the signs. If you have skin tags, that's your first sign. You don't have any energy, that's your second sign. You have bloating after every meal or even not eating a meal at all, that's a third sign. Body aches and pains, craving sugary salty food, it's your choice. BJ, I thank you for your time and the opportunity to talk to you. And here I am in Alabama and you're in Virginia, and we've got to become friends over this time, and we're just growing together. And
Yes.
if you want to do something like this, let us know. Reach out to us because it is that easy to
Yes.
tell somebody else. All you're doing is telling them about something like you telling them about McDonald's. That's it.
That's right.
But thank you for your time. And
Thank
if you're
you.
watching the replay, please share this live. Please invite somebody, especially if they're dealing with prediabetes or diabetes or cholesterol problems, because there is a natural solution, 90-day money back guarantee, and you're just referring it. You're just speaking it out loud. All
Thank
right,
you for
BJ, you
having
have a
me.
wonderful, amazing day. Thank
Thank you.
you.
You too.
All right, bye
Bye
bye.
bye.